you better sell out. You put your money where your mouth is. Like, okay, that attitude, okay, knock it off. Right. But really, though, we got to sell out.
You got to.
Taking that attitude out, we have to sell out. It would be very embarrassing.
Everybody should embrace, but not everybody is embracing. There's some elected officials on the Pinellas side that aren't so gung-ho on this measure. And
you are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Rays, your daily podcast covering everything Tampa Bay Rays, from game analysis to player interviews. We've got you covered with all the latest news and insights. My name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano,
bringing you expert analysis and passionate discussions about our beloved Rays.
Whether you're a diehard fan who vividly remembers Longo's game 162 just like us,
or you remember the early Devil Ray days of Wade Boggs and Carl Crawford,
we're here to break down every play, every trade, and every milestone. In fact, this is our 6th season covering the Rays daily.
In every season up till 2024, they've gone to the playoffs, but you can still grab your favorite Rays gear, settle in, and subscribe to our Locked On Rays YouTube channel and other podcast platforms. You can also find us on X and Instagram at Locked On Rays.
Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started.
Big news, Ulises. The Rays know where they're going to play in 2025. Maybe not 2026 or 2027 or 2028, but 2025, they will be playing not St. Petersburg, not Pinellas County, but in the city of Tampa, right across from Raymond James Stadium at Steinbrenner Field. How about that? The news came out. That's a nice little early Thanksgiving gift, if you will.
It really is. I can't believe it when I first heard, because MLB doesn't usually do the best case scenario for situations like these. Sometimes it just fumbles the ball.
Right.
That's why our reactions were like, well, probably not going to happen, with all the things about the vote in the stadium in Pinellas and obviously the rivalry between AL East and knowing that there had already been games played in Dunedin with the Blue Jays. It always pointed out that, probably not. But this was the best case scenario, Kevin, yes, because you keep the team in the area. You try to put some more folks from the Hillsborough County side, from the Zephyr Hills and in your area, get down over here to Tampa to watch the Rays. It's 11,000. It's the most amount of seating in that of all the options. It's the most major league ready stadium of all the options. It was really, it was the best option. And I'm really surprised that MLB actually did the right thing.
Yeah, and they were running out of time, because before you know it, spring training is going to be here, and you have to have those reservations in place. And it's funny you mentioned that. I think this is, we've talked about it before the new stadium deal got announced in St. Petersburg, that this would be the perfect scenario, pie in the sky scenario, if the Rays could somehow locate long-term in Tampa, right across from Raymond James Stadium, just totally demolish Steinbrenner Field and build a Rays stadium there. But at least we'll get a season of it and see what happens from there. There's still some major question marks about the bond and even the future of a new Rays stadium in St. Petersburg. But that's a question and a comment for another day, although I'm sure we'll get to some of the political anglings that have been going on after this announcement. And the Yankees are doing this out of the kindness of their heart, plus $15 million. The Rays will have to pay them for use of that facility, which interestingly could get reimbursed through their insurance coverage. But it's kind of funny or ironic that the Rays are paying the Yankees for a revenue sharing model. But it's pretty cool, and something that this could be a once in a lifetime situation. So I implore everybody to enjoy it, take it in, go to as many Rays games as you can. If you can, get a ticket, because fewer supply and maybe equal or more demand with being located in Tampa. We've talked about how are the Rays going to get the funds to pay for their players and their operations and all of that stuff. And I just go back to a basic economics course. Hey, just raise the prices of the tickets, raise the prices of the parking, raise the prices of the merchandise, and maybe you can somehow break even or more than break even. But I plan to be going to a lot of Rays games at Steinbrenner Field, no matter what the cost or the price point is. I probably went to, believe it or not, more Tarpons game last year than I went to Rays games, just because the location, the cost, the experience. I mean, not to shout out the Tarpons too much, but you could get in for $2, bring your dog, and have free parking. That's not going to be the situation for Major League Baseball and the Rays at Steinbrenner Field. But I will be curious about, I mean, my guess is you sell out every night, whether you're playing the Yankees, the Red Sox, or the White Sox, or the Athletics.
You can, I mean, look, I'm not into the bashing of the fans, and I know some people have done that on the social media, like, oh, you know, you better sell out. You put your money where your mouth is. Like, okay, that attitude, okay, knock it off. Right. But really, though, we gotta sell out. Like,
yeah, you got to
taking that attitude out. We have to sell out It would be very embarrassing if a stadium of 11,000 does not get filled out every single night. And yeah, you're going to be like, well, what about Tuesday night games against the Oakland A's? Well, not even the Oakland A's, the Sacramento A's. I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. It has to be filled. It's 11,000. Yes. It's where the whole thing was. If you build it in Tampa, people are going to go. We cannot look in social media. We already get enough bashing for the Trop and for the lack of fans. They don't show up. They're cheap. They're a farm system in the MLB for the richer teams. They don't know. They don't care about their pitchers. They all get Tommy John. Like, we have so much to deal with as a Rays society. We cannot put another one of this magnitude. Like, oh, they can't even fill a minor league stadium.
Yeah. And honestly, my concern isn't about that necessarily, because I'm just taking that as a given of every night you'll have 11,000 plus fans. But I'm also wondering if the Rays can do some creative ticket measures of standing room only, bringing in some bleachers, doing some different things with the social spaces, the cabana seating, the suites, to hopefully make it work and maybe increase the capacity for certain events and certain dates and so forth. But I'm pumped. I'm excited about it.
Man.
I think that everybody should embrace, but not everybody is embracing. There's some elected officials on the Pinellas side that aren't so gung-ho on this measure, and I think we'll get to some of those comments. But my point is, you had a hopefully once in a multiple generation storm, and sometimes you have to pivot, reverse course. And the idea is this is only going to be for a year. You can make things work. You can get on the same page for a year, and then you have to look at the long play, the long road of what's going to happen for the next 3, 4, 5 decades.
I want to get into that. I do want to say just before we say all that hashtag negative stuff beforehand, you know how I feel about football, how I feel about
you love it.
The NFL, right? Exactly. Big fan. No. I am looking forward to the chance in September of next year of going, and again, not a football fan, but look, this is what they've given me with this opportunity. I am going to go to a Raymond James football game. I mean, see the Bucks and go Bucks. I don't care who they play against. And then that same day, walk over a block and a half and see the Rays play. Like, that's going to be awesome. I've already checked it out. I think Greg Allman put it out there. There's 4 chances of this happening, and I think they're like late August and in September. I'm in, baby.
Yeah,
I'm in.
And hopefully in October too. That would be nice if you have a Rays playoff home game, and then the Bucks play on a Sunday or a Monday or a Thursday. That would be quite something.
Would they play an MLB playoff game at a minor league stadium? That I don't think they would.
Where else are they going to play? I mean, would the Trop be ready by October?
The Trop could be ready by October.
Okay. So, I mean, they say they're playing for the 2025 season, so that tells me March through September and maybe October. But we'll cross that bridge when we cross that bridge. I mean, the team has to do some improvements first before we can be talking about playoffs, because at face value, I'm not sure if this is a playoff team right now. We have more to discuss, but first we have to tell the audience something very important. SelectQuote is one of America's leading insurance brokers with nearly 40 years experience, helping over 2 million customers find over $700 billion in coverage since 1985. SelectQuote's licensed insurance agents work for you to tailor a life insurance policy for your individual needs in as little as 15 minutes. You invest so much time to take care of yourself and to be the healthiest, best version of you. Well, SelectQuote's exclusive policies can reward that effort. And these policies are more affordable than you might think. You could get coverage for up to $1 million for as little as $20 per month. So don't waste any more time here. Head over to SelectQuote.com and a licensed insurance agent will call you right away with the right policy for your life and your budget. SelectQuote, they shop, you save. Get the right life insurance for you for less at SelectQuote.com/locked on. One more time for the audience out there, that is SelectQuote.com/locked on.
No matter where you are in life, you got to do something good for yourself. And sometimes your body's not feeling quite right. So, Kevin, I ask you, what's the best place where you could go that you can start feeling better?
That would be the Joint Chiropractic.
That would be the Joint Chiropractic. And you can do that for a very small amount of money. Your first visit can get you in for $19. $19, people. You spend more on coffee during the week than this. $19. So you can get this deal if you go to Buccaneers.com, check out the contest and promotion sections under the fans tab, and download this offer. And you're like, oh man, where do I go? I mean, so many locations. Don't worry. Thejoint.com. You can have your zip code in there, and then they'll say, hey, this is the best place for you today. So again, get the offer, $19. Check out the nearest Tampa area location and do something good for yourself today.
Something that we teased for a little bit. Some of the elected officials out there are not happy about this maneuver by the Rays in Major League Baseball and the Yankees as well. Partnership there.
Yeah. Can I I wish I had the tweet up there, but if not, I'm going to read it. Chris Ledvala yesterday on Twitter goes,
who is a Pinellas County commissioner.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yes. If the Rays violate the spirit of their own agreement they made with the city/county in July, then I will vote no on the bonds. I represent my constituents first and foremost. Grandstanding has begun, Kevin, but
yes, it has.
Lucas Bogg, who is a former TV news photojournalist at WSNN and is currently a video production consultant, he noted that the Jack Ledvala, who is Chris's father, received money contributions to his PAC from the Phillies, and Chris Ledvala threw out the first pitch at one of their spring games. He sat in the owner's seat at Citizens Bank Park and had dinner with team ownership. So which constituents is Chris Ledvala talking about? Because if you look at his tweet, an overwhelming majority of people are saying, like, do not dunk this deal. Do not do this. This is good for us. And he's saying, no, my constituents are completely against this. So it just seems weird. And also the Phillies thing. What's going on here, Kev?
Yeah, it's a bad look. And I think it seems like Chris Latvala's constituents are the Latvala family. And the Phillies, I guess, to some extent. Honestly, I'm not even sure if he would be happy or satisfied if the Rays played in Dunedin or Outlang. Like, to me, it seemed like it was the Phillies spring training home or bust. And hopefully his lone or one no vote doesn't kill the Rays St. Petersburg deal. I'm more in line with what Pinellas County Vice Chair Brian Scott said about this measure. Quote, I would have preferred the Rays play in Pinellas County. However, it is a positive they will be staying local. The Steinbrenner deal is only for 1 year, so hopefully the Rays can play in Pinellas for the 26 and 27 seasons in advance of the new stadium being completed for the 28 season. As far as the bond decision is concerned, I stand by my vote to support the county's portion of a new stadium, which is one component of a long-term vision to improve the quality of life in Pinellas. So I think that hopefully is the direction and viewpoint of most of the elected officials over there. And I mean, you can play it another way is Pinellas County didn't step up with Pinellas County in the city. You have to provide a reputable facility for the Rays to play in. And I don't think they held up their end of the bargain necessarily. I mean, Milton killed things, of course, but and I know with government and FEMA and storm and recovery, there's a lot at play here, but it would be one thing if, you know, they said, hey, we'll have Tropicana Field ready for the 2025 season or sometime in 2025 season. And the Rays said, no, we're just going to play in St. Peter's or Steinbrenner Field for 2025. I feel like that would be a different conversation. But right now, you really have not given them, to me, they don't have a leg to stand on with this.
Well, these conversations obviously are not happening in a public forum, so we don't know what's being said. But I would find it very difficult that the Phillies offered up their stadium for the Rays to use, and Rays just said, "Nah, we're good, thanks." Though, I just don't buy that. Now, I think Brian Scott, the Pinellas County Vice Chair, that quote you read, that seems like the most sensible thing,
right?
To think about. Hey, this is an act of God. Okay, this is nature doing its thing. Mm-hmm. The Rays they're not willy-nilly just like, oh, we're moving to Tampa. No, this happened. This is the best case scenario. It has the most seating. It is the most major league ready. It is in Tampa. It is in the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah,
I don't. There's plenty of parking lot. I know we've talked about that. There's plenty of parking lot, already with Raymond James Stadium there. Like it's not. You're making the best out of a war situation. So when Chris is just grandstanding like this, it feels hollow. It feels very politicky. And honestly, in 2024, I think we've all grown away from this old-timey politicking bull crap. And it stinks.
No, I'm with you there. And it's only for 1 year. Take it for what it's worth. And it could be worse. It could be the Rays playing in Durham. It could be the Rays playing in Orlando. It could be the Rays playing in Miami or somewhere else for a season. Those were all thrown about and bandied about.
This rivalry that he's looking at is from a rivalry of Pinellas versus Hillsborough. Bro, there's no rivalry, man.
Yeah.
St. Pete has some things, Tampa has some things, and we all, there's a common ground. We all don't want to cross that bridge. Okay?
And maybe you might have a situation where people that normally wouldn't have gone to a Rays game, they go there because they're in the heart or around the Tampa area, and they say, you know what, when they're in St. Petersburg, we're going to do a better job of supporting the team and going to those games.
Yes,
especially when the new stadium comes about. So you got to look at it from a different
fans. You're moving. Exactly. Hey, they're going to be spending more money in St. Pete. Like it feels very childish from Latvala, and hopefully that his take is alone and it doesn't dump the deal. But it's very worrisome, Kevin, because we don't know.
And one other note, Evan Klosky was listening to a radio show that had Matt Silverman on, Rays executive, and he was evidently asked a couple times about the worries in Pinellas in pursuing a ballpark over there in 2025 and the bond issue, and Silverman skirted those questions. So that's interesting as well.
Do you have your tinfoil hat on at reach? Can you get
I
it
always
going?
have it on. It
Cool.
is ingrained into my brain. I had Elon help
Perfect.
me out with that.
Everybody, please grab your tinfoil hat on. This will only take 120 seconds, people. So go get it. Pause this video. Go get the tinfoil hat on. Okay, you got it. Boom. Let's all put it on there. Okay. Conspiracy theory. What if this is a long play of showing that Hillsborough County can show up for the race and leverage that into a stadium situation with Hillsborough County for the last time?
I like it. And maybe going back to Chris Latvala, maybe that's what he was concerned about, but he didn't mention that in the statement that I'm aware of. But look, I think that's what the majority of the public, the people that live in the quote unquote Tampa Bay area, would like. It's just Hillsborough and Tampa weren't able to come up with the money, and there's all the money tied up into the redevelopment properties in St. Petersburg. And if you want to think about it in a more diabolical measure, maybe not just Tampa, Hillsborough, but Nashville, Charlotte, someplace like that, because you also have, I guess Stu is looking for some help with the ownership group. I mean, selling the team. So I think it's all at play right now, especially if that bond situation doesn't get hammered out.
Yeah, I would say I'm not so worried about the Portlands and the Nashvilles and the Charlottes, because Major League Baseball doesn't want to have a whole A's thing happen again, where you're taking a team that has been there for a while, obviously the A's more than the Rays, and then just like put it. Nashville wants their own identity. Charlotte wants their own identity. Portland wants their own identity. So I'm not really worried about that. They want the new teams when they expand it to 32. But look, you don't get to be a billionaire by being dumb.
Right.
Okay. Stu Sternberg is a smart bleeping guy. So when people are playing checkers, our buddy's playing chess.
Yeah. 3D chess.
So 3D chess, yeah. He's doing the Star Trek chess. If you haven't seen that, Google it. Have some fun with that. Maybe this, again, we're in tinfoil conspiracy hat mode right now. I feel like it could be a play. I feel like it could be something that, and it's not like, oh, he, make the hurricane happen, for God's sakes. No, but it's just, it's an opportunity that presents itself. It's an Ahmed Rosario that presents itself for $1.5 million. And you're saying, why the heck not? It's a situation where the Pirates are saying, yeah, we'll take Chris Archer and give you Meadows, Glasnow, and Boz. Sure, no deal. Yeah, this is presenting itself and we're going to take it. I don't know.
It's some food for thought, and we'll have to see how it all plays out. We did put it out on Twitter X. Do you like that the Rays will be playing at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa in 2025 for the 2025 season? 65% say absolutely, 26% say they have mixed feelings, and 9% say they hate it. That must be St. Petersburg residents. Jake Stokes says, I love it, but the only caveat is they have to have a high sellout percentage. Otherwise, we don't have a leg to stand on with the quote unquote other side of the bridge. Smaller venue in Hillsborough needs to be sold out most games. Chris Snyder says sunscreen is on the way. And John Farrell says it's the best solution. Glad they could work it out. So there we have it. Put it in the YouTube comments what you think as well. In the meantime, we have baseball trivia and Name That War coming up next. But first, we have to tell the audience something very important.
Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. It's a one-stop shop. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Again, that's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports book partner of the NFL.
Baseball trivia, name that war, Ulises. On a fun Friday, I have trivia for you. You have war for me and the audience. My trivia question concerns catchers. That has been an ongoing discussion and debate with the Tampa Bay Rays. And my trivia question has to do with really good catchers, in fact. Guys that played a lot of games at the catcher position. In front of me, I have a list of 10 names who have the most defensive games at catcher. I want 5 of those names. So think of some guys who put on the tools of ignorance for a very, very long time, for years, decades, seasons, so on.
Yogi Berra.
Yogi Berra is not on this list. Strike one.
The bleeping guy won 10 rings, 8 rings, and he didn't make it.
Hey, he's not on this list. He doesn't have at least 1,900 games at the catcher position.
Ooh, okay. Well, that's a good hint. 1,900. So that's the least amount of games. So 1,900 divided by 162 is 11 years. Almost 12 years in the league. Okay. Let's go with Johnny Bench.
Johnny Bench. Strike two.
Bro, what?
He's not on this list. He's further down the list, actually. So is Yogi, obviously.
Yadier Molina.
Number 4 on the list with 2,184 games at catcher.
Okay. We got at least one. My God. I want to say names like Carlton Fisk. I want to say names like Roy Campanella. Catchers for a long, long time.
2 strikes, 1 hit is what you have.
Jorge Posada.
Strike 3.
What?
All right, I'm going to give you the list here. Number 1, Pudge Rodriguez.
Oh my God.
With 2.427. 2, Carlton Fisk, who you should have guessed. 3, Bob Boone. 4, Yadi Molina. 5, Gary Carter. 6, Jason Kindle. 7, Tony Pena. 8, Brad Osmus. 9, your favorite broadcaster of all time, AJ Pierzynski. And 10, Jim Sundberg. That is the list. For the record, Johnny Bench was 17th. Yogi Berra was 20th. And I can't remember your other guess.
Roy Campanella, I think. I don't know.
Roy Campanella, I do not see him in the top 25 or so names.
Wow. That's a really good one, man.
Yeah.
That's a really good trivia question.
I tried.
Well, we were talking about Yankee home, Steinbrenner Field, which is now the Rays home for the 2025 season. By the way, what are they going to do with the aesthetics, man? Because we're not going to see all that Yankee crap all the time.
No, they're going to have to remove that and change it out. I think they're going to do a whole rebranding or branding the stadium, which is going to cost a lot of money, a lot of expense, and it's going to take some time. I mean, good thing they've got a couple months to do it. I imagine they're going to have to do it before over the course of spring training, because I don't think they can have it. There's not enough of a lead time to get all that changed out. So
yeah, I mean, the Yankees are going to be playing there for spring training, so you have to do it basically in 2 days time.
No, no way that would happen.
Too crazy.
Yeah,
too crazy.
So that's going to happen now. That's why the Yankees are getting $15 million, among other reasons. So.
David Sampson did say that they might actually get that $15 million from the league. So then it would be like the Rays paying 1/30th of it, which is insane, but that could be an option
we'll
too.
Take it. So the Yankees would be paying for their own stipend. Maybe they're excluded from that measure. Anyway.
All right. For Name That War, which is, if you haven't seen us play Name That War, is when we take a player from the past and we try to guess their career war according to Baseball Reference. And talking about Steinbrenner Field and the Yankees, well, how about we take a Yankee? And that player from the past is called Masahiro Tanaka. What is Tanaka's career war according to Baseball Reference?
Tanaka was a pitcher, correct?
Correct.
I want to say he played like 10 years in the league, maybe had 1 or 2 all-star appearances. Did he play for any other teams?
Just the Yanks.
Just the Yankees. Maybe he didn't play 10 years. Maybe it was more like 8. But I think it was pretty solid throughout. Maybe barely a sub-4 ERA, like a 3.8, 3.9. Just shooting from the hip here, I'm going to say he had a 14 career WAR.
7 years in the league, 1.14 ERA plus. Very good on the ERA, Kevin. 3.74. In 7 years, he was an all-star twice. Barely over 1,000 innings pitched, 1,054 in those 7 years. His career WAR 17.3.
Okay.
Not too shabby, Weiss. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. I was pretty close there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not remember a lot from him, believe it or not. When did your last play? Oh, 2020. Okay. Yeah, the 2020 threw everything for a loop, for sure. Yeah. All right. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you next week.